Hello there, you're watching Nightline with me, Liyana Hassanel. Express bus operations suspended after teen's electrocution death. And police record statements from 16 over UPNM cadet bullying case. The headlining story. The Transport Ministry, through the Land Public Transport Agency, APAT, has suspended the operations of an express bus company after a teen died while charging his phone while on board. Its Minister Anthony Loke said the company involved had been suspended immediately for further investigation by the Road Transport Department, RTD. The minister also said that special task force consisting the RTD, APAT and the Malaysian Institute of Road Safety Research will be activated to investigate the cause of the incident to ensure that such incidents do not recur and that passenger safety is always guaranteed. In the incident on Friday evening, the deceased, identified as 18-year-old Muhammad Nur Ashmawi Jasmadi, was on an express bus at the Penang Central Bus Terminal, scheduled to depart for KL Central. Seberang Perai Utara Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Anwar Abdul Rahman said police were alerted about the incident at 7:40 p.m. He said initial investigations revealed burn marks on the youth's left fingers, believed to have resulted from electrocution while charging his cell phone using the socket on the bus. He added that the end of the charging cable had melted. The post-mortem report revealed the youth died from electrocution. Police have recorded the statements 16 individuals in the investigation of an alleged bullying and abuse case involving a cadet officer at the Military Training Academy ALK of Universiti Pertahanan Nasional Malaysia UPNM. Kuala Lumpur Police Chief Datuk Rusdi Muhammad Isa said the police are also seized an iron believed to have been used as the weapon in the case. In a statement on Sunday, Rusdi stated that cops have recorded the statements of the victim, ALK staff, witnesses to the incident, trainers and medical officers who treated the victim's injuries. He added that the police are also awaiting the victim's medical report. On Saturday, police recorded the statements of the suspect and a witness after the 20-year-old victim lodged a report on Friday. The cadet was allegedly bullied and abused by a senior officer using a heated iron, which reportedly left burn marks on his chest at 11:45 p.m. on October 22nd in the university's dormitory. The case is being investigated under the Penal Code for voluntarily causing hurt using a dangerous weapon. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, has detained 2 more individuals in connection with the investigation into a fertilizer procurement cartel worth 60 million ringgit. The suspects, both former general managers of a public organization, were handed a 3-day and 4-day remand on Sunday. The Putrajaya Magistrates Court granted the remand orders for the 2 male suspects in their 50s and 60s until November 5th and 6th, after an application made by the MACC on Sunday morning. Sources said both suspects were detained when giving their statements at the MACC headquarters in Putrajaya at around 8:30 p.m. on Saturday. The 2 were detained to facilitate probe into the fertilizer procurement cartel linked to a public organization suspected of having elements of corruption and abuse of power. MACC Deputy Chief Commissioner of Operations Datuk Sri Ahmad Kusairi Yahya confirmed the arrests and stated both suspects are being investigated under the MACC Act. The arrests bring the total number of detainees to 5, including a company's marketing executive. MACC investigations found that a fertilizer supply contract worth approximately 60 million ringgit was awarded through direct negotiation within just 6 days in June 2022. The 6 Malaysians arrested in Thailand are expected to be remanded at the Narathiwat court on Monday. According to a Thai police spokesman, the 6 individuals, including 3 women aged between 25 and 32, who were arrested by Thai authorities for possession of 6,000 Yaba pills on Friday, also tested positive for drugs. The suspects, which include a well-known singer, are currently being held at the Sungai Golok Police Lockup, located 50 kilometers away from the Naratiwat court. The spokesman said the remand is to enable the police to carry out investigations into the case. If investigations find them guilty of the offence, the six will be jointly charged with possession of the 6,000 pills. 2 of the 3 women arrested are also being investigated for entering Thailand without proper documents. It was previously reported that 6 Malaysians were arrested in South Thailand for possession of drugs at a hotel in Sungai Golok at about 6 a.m. on Friday. They were believed to have crossed the border town for leisure over the Deepavali holidays. Separately in Kelantan, a General Operations Force (PGA) Southeast Brigade team seized 3.24 million ringgit worth of Yaba pills near Kampung Laut in Tumpat. The operation, dubbed Op Taring Sky, personnel from Battalion 8 conducted a raid at around 10 p.m. on Saturday along the village's riverbank following a tip-off. Southeast Brigade GOF Commander, Senior Assistant Commissioner Datuk Nikros Azhan Nik Abdul Hamid said that PGA officers observed 2 men behaving suspiciously as they were monitoring suspected drug smuggling activities. The duo then fled the scene after realizing the presence of the officers. A search of the area led to the discovery of several boxes containing 216,000 Yaba pills, weighing over 25 kilograms, believed to have been smuggled in from Thailand. The case is being investigated under the Dangerous Drugs Act. The strong bilateral ties between Malaysia and China will be further enhanced with a working visit by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim beginning Monday. This is especially significant as the 2 nations celebrate the 50th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations this year. In a statement, the Foreign Affairs Ministry said the visit until November 7th was at the invitation of Premier Li Qiang and to attend the 7th China International Import Expo, CIIE, in Shanghai. This year, Malaysia has been bestowed the title Country of Honour at the 7th CIIE, and Anwar will also deliver a speech at the opening ceremony. The Prime Minister is scheduled to meet Premier Li Qiang to deliberate on bilateral matters following their meeting in Putrajaya on June 19th. According to Wisma Putra, Anwar will also visit Beijing, where he is scheduled to pay a courtesy call on President Xi Jinping. For 15 consecutive years since 2009, China has been Malaysia's largest trading partner globally. In 2023, total trade with China was valued at 450.84 billion ringgit, representing 17.1% of Malaysia's global trade. The Plantation and Commodities Ministry will ensure that all palm oil industry players, including smallholders, obtain the Malaysian Sustainable Palm Oil MSPO certification. Its Minister, Datuk Seri Johari Abdul Ghani, said the ministry will provide guidance to help these procedures meet global market standards, particularly for the European market.
Jadi kalau macam orang nak beli, kalau orang negara luar nak import kelapa sawit, dia akan pilih Malaysia punya. Pasal kita bukan saja kita saya keluar, Indonesia pun ada keluar, Thailand pun ada keluar. Jadi dia akan cari, oh kita beli palm oil daripada Malaysia. Maka dia akan dapat manfaat kepada kita apabila kita comply dari segi MSPO ini.
He added that obtaining MSPO certification is vital to ensure that Malaysian palm oil products come from sustainable production sources. Adhering to MSPO not only enhances Malaysia's reputation in the global market, but also contributes to environmental conservation. The Malaysian Palm Oil Board aims for more than 90% of independent smallholders to achieve MSPO certification by the end of next year. Speaking on another matter, Johari on Sunday has issued a reminder for the younger generation to uphold unity for the prosperity, well-being and peace of the nation. He emphasized that tolerance, mutual respect and appreciating the culture of other ethnic groups have been long-held values among Malaysians and should be preserved.
Kalau Malaysia ini nak stabil, kesemua mereka ini mesti menghayati betapa penting ini untuk menjaga negara kita ini dan memberi kestabilan politik kepada negara kita ini supaya negara ini dapat dibangunkan dengan begitu teratur dan meningkatkan kepercayaan pelabur-pelabur di luar sana dan juga rakyat kita sendiri.
Johari, who is also the Member of Parliament for Titi Wangsa, shared this message at the closing ceremony of the Malaysia Madani National Leadership Training Program for the Titi Wangsa youth community, held in Rembau, Negeri Sembilan earlier on Sunday. The three-day program brought together over 100 youths from the Titi Wangsa constituency. Participants engaged in various modules focusing on self-identity development and leadership skills. The Rural and Regional Development Ministry will focus on seeing through 24 projects in Sarawak that had not been completed since 2016. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi gave his assurance that all delayed projects would begin before the start of the 13th Malaysia Plan in 2026.
Untuk penangguhan itu, jadi sebelum bermulanya rancangan Malaysia ke-13, kita akan mulakan projek-projek yang tertangguh ini sebelum pelancaran rancangan Malaysia ke-13. Tidak ada makna projek-projek baru dilaksanakan jika projek lama tidak dijalankan atau tidak dimulakan.
In a press conference after attending a briefing on the implementation of Sarawak State Development projects in Kuching on Sunday, Zahid said as an initial step to restart work, discussions would be held with various ministries and federal agencies to address pertinent issues. He said a meeting would be held in 2 weeks' time and the agenda would include new project costs and construction material costs, given the lengthy delays. One of the delayed projects is the Jiwa Murni Rural Roads Initiative, which involves upgrading former logging roads at a cost of 85 million ringgit, essential to provide connectivity for remote communities. He said the projects totaled around 1.4 billion ringgit, and some of the projects had costed over 300 million ringgit each. The Johor Bahru Sessions Court has postponed its decision on the case of a traitor charged with causing severe injuries to his then-pregnant wife, leaving her in a coma 3 years ago after he failed to appear in court on Sunday. Judge Fatima Zahari set the new date after the defence informed the court that the victim's ex-husband, 41-year-old Rosman Abdul Rauf, could not be present as he was hospitalised. The defence said the accused was admitted to Pundang Hospital in Kedah on Saturday due to shortness of breath and losing consciousness after football practice. Rosmaini is accused of assaulting 46-year-old Jahidah Nordin Sylvester by striking her head, face and hands and stomping on the back of her hand on June 17, 2021, when she was still his third wife, causing severe injuries leading to a coma. Jahidah's case shocked the nation as she had ended up in a coma while she was pregnant. Her baby was safely delivered via a caesarean surgery on November 30th, 2021. Banyaya conquers Sepang. Action from the MotoGP after this breather.
Ada orang tengok ikan macam ikan arwana hanya seekor ikan saja. Tapi pada kita yang minat, kita nampak lain.
Kebanyakan dayung ni motor nampak cantik je. Bila dayung tu terkepit, renangan dia tu tak smooth. Bila dayung tu turun ke bawah, dia nampak macam gas sikit.
Setiap orang apabila masuk dalam tandas, flush, semua orang kena faham dan tahu benda ni mesti akan mengalir ke satu tempat. Tempat tu perlu diuruskan.
Walaupun kerja kita ni 3D, tapi kalau tak ada orang yang nak buat, siapa lagi yang nak buat kalau bukan kita?
Istimewa MHI minggu ini.
Kenali aneka jenis cendawan dan khasiatnya.
Strok dan angin amar, apakah punca dan rawatannya?
Semakin meningkat kes perceraian. Adakah puncanya lelaki atau wanita? Kita kupaskan bersama.
Hukuman jenayah bagi pesalah pesakit mental. Apa yang kita perlu tahu?
Juga bajet perkahwinan dalam soal wang.
Malaysia hari ini Isnin hingga Jumaat jam 10 hingga 11 pagi.
Di TV3 dan ditonton.
Lebih segar, lebih dinamik. Laporan komprehensif menghidupkan pagi anda.
Buletin pagi dengan waktu yang baharu. 9.30 pagi setiap hari bermula 1 November.
Alah, dah habis. Tak sempat nak tengok.
Drama TV3 Mak?
Tengok je lah kat tonton.
Telefon nak buat?
Telefon mak. Mula-mula mak buka tonton, lepas tu tekan sign up here untuk buat akaun baru. Isi nombor telefon, email dengan password. Masukkan nombor TAC dan siap.
Ya, senang je. Jadi tengok dasar.
Boleh lah. Jadi dah drama mak tu.
We're back with sports. MotoGP, the 2024 Malaysian Grand Prix. Ducati's Francesco Bagnaia kept his title defense alive with a victory in Sepang on Sunday, cutting Jorge Martin's lead in the riders' standings down to 24 points ahead of the season finale. After some early drama, the race was forced to be restarted after Fabio Quartararo of Monster Energy Yamaha, as well as Red Bull KTM duo Jack Miller and Brad Binder, got tangled up in a crash in the opening lap. After the restart, Bagnaia and Pramac Racing's Martin, who started from first and second on the grid, swapped the lead numerous times for the first 3 laps until Bagnaia opened up a gap. Once Bagnaia had an advantage, there was no looking back and he managed to keep the lead until the finish line. Martin's second-placed finish moved him up to 485 points in the overall standings, while Bagnaia is second on 461. Bagnaia's teammate Ania Bastianini finished third, over 7 seconds behind Martin. Alex Marquez of Gresini Ducati came in fourth, followed by Red Bull Gasgas Tech 3's Pedro Acosta. Turning to football, the German Bundesliga. Harry Kane struck once in each half as Bayern Munich claimed a 3-0 win over Union Berlin. Kane struck the opener after just 15 minutes from the spot after Michael Olise was brought down inside the penalty area. Kingsley Coman doubled the advantage for the hosts 2 minutes before the interval, with Kane the provider. Union tried to bounce back in the second half, but Bayern put the result beyond doubt in the 51st minute when Kane finished off Olise's initial header. With the win, Bayern climbed to the top spot with 23 points, 3 points above RB Leipzig. In another match, Borussia Dortmund came from behind to condemn early pace setters Leipzig to their first league defeat of the season. Leipzig found the net first in the 27th minute when Benjamin Šeško's fierce drive found the top corner of the net. Maximilian Baya drew level for Dortmund 3 minutes later, before Serhou Guirassy struck the winner in the 64th as Dortmund climbed into 5th and level on points with 4th-placed Bayer Leverkusen. Tennis now, the 2024 Paris Masters. Alexander Zverev conquered Paris as he claimed the trophy after defeating home favourite Ugo Humbert in the final on Sunday night. The German needed 1 hour and 15 minutes to seal a 6-2, 6-2 victory over Humbert. The 27-year-old now boasts 7 ATP 1000 level titles over the course of his career, following 2 wins in Rome and Madrid, as well as victories in Montreal and Cincinnati. New Delhi air quality deteriorates to severe. This and more from the foreign front when Nightline returns.
Ada orang tengok ikan macam ikan arwana hanya seekor ikan saja. Tapi pada kita yang minat, kita nampak lain.
Kebanyakan dayung ni untuk nampak cantik je. Bila dayung tu terkepit, renangan dia tu tak smooth. Bila dayung tu turun ke bawah, dia nampak macam gas sikit.
Setiap orang apabila masuk dalam tandas, flush, semua orang kena faham dan tahu benda ni mesti akan mengalir ke satu tempat. Tempat tu perlu diuruskan.
Walaupun kerja kita ni 3D, tapi kalau tak ada orang yang nak buat, siapa lagi yang nak buat kalau bukan kita?
Lebih segar, lebih dinamik. Laporan komprehensif menghidupkan pagi anda.
Buletin pagi dengan waktu yang baharu. 9.30 pagi setiap hari bermula 1 November.
Oh. Guys, dekat tonton ada pelbagai drama dan filem Korea nombor 1. Seronoknya layan offer sampai pagi. Mak turun aplikasi tonton, semua favourite anda ada di sini.
Istimewa MHI minggu ini.
Kenali aneka jenis cendawan dan khasiatnya.
Strok dan angin amar, apakah punca dan rawatannya?
Semakin meningkat kes perceraian. Adakah puncanya lelaki atau wanita? Kita kupaskan bersama.
Hukuman jenayah bagi pesalah pesakit mental. Apa yang kita perlu tahu?
Juga bajet perkahwinan dalam soal wang.
Malaysia hari ini Isnin hingga Jumaat jam 10 hingga 11 pagi.
Di TV3 dan ditonton.
The 2024 U.S. election now. The latest poll tracker showed Vice President Kamala Harris ahead by a very slim 1 point within the margin of error. Neither Harris nor another top candidate, Donald Trump, has breached the 50% mark. According to the latest poll, Harris's average was 47.9% against Trump's 46.9%. In the so-called blue wall states, which typically tilt Democrat but are considered swing states this year, Trump was slightly ahead at 47.9% to Harris's 47.6% in Pennsylvania, while Harris was 1% ahead in Michigan and Wisconsin. Trump was ahead of Harris by 1% in Nevada, 2% in Georgia and North Carolina, and 3% in Arizona. However, in a potentially major political shift in Iowa, a state that Trump won in 2016 and 2020, a highly respected pollster showed that Harris is 3 percentage points ahead of Trump at 47 to 44. The poll also showed Harris picking up support from women, particularly in older demographics and among independent voters who are not aligned with a political party. At the same time, the polls showed that only 89% of Republicans supported Trump, which means he is in trouble securing his base. Campaigning in the city of Charlotte in North Carolina on Saturday, Harris continued to sharpen her attack on Trump, saying the former president only cares about his interests without a comprehensive plan for the future. Trump, meanwhile, used his evening rally in Greensboro, North Carolina, to make an effort to tailor his anti-immigrant message to non-white voters in the U.S., warning, for instance, that unfettered immigration could deteriorate black communities. Major Indian cities such as New Delhi and Mumbai appeared hazy on Sunday as air quality plummeted across the country. According to the National Air Quality Index, the air quality in several parts of New Delhi deteriorated to the severe category, with calm winds seen across the city, leading to local pollutants accumulating in the air. The average air quality index stood at 369 at 9 a.m. local time, a deterioration of over 50 points from Saturday's 4 p.m. reading of 316. Air quality in Mumbai, meanwhile, declined to poor. Buildings and monuments were blanketed in a thick layer of haze in both cities, while the iconic Taj Mahal in Agra was also hardly visible. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said on Sunday that his government planned to cut student loans for around 3 million Australians by 20% from June 1st next year, wiping around $10.49 billion in debts. Announcing the cut to student loans for tertiary education, Albanese stated that this measure will help everyone currently carrying student debt, while they endeavour to deliver a better deal for every student in the years ahead. The changes would mean the average graduate with a loan of approximately $17,600 would have about $3,600 wiped. The move builds on May's budget, which attacked cost of living pressures in Australia and gave debt relief for students, as well as more investment to make medicines cheaper and a boost to a rent assistance program. Zionist forces stepped up bombardment of the Gaza Strip on Sunday, killing at least 23 people, with over half the deaths in northern areas where the army has waged a month-long campaign it says to prevent Hamas from regrouping. Medics said at least 13 Palestinians were killed in separate attacks on houses in Beit Lahia town and Jabalia, the largest of the enclave's 8 historic refugee camps, while the rest were killed in separate Zionist airstrikes in Gaza City and the southern areas. According to the World Health Organization, Zionist forces also dropped a stun grenade on a polio vaccination center in Gaza City, wounding at least 4 children, despite agreeing to a humanitarian pause for a long-delayed inoculation campaign. The Zionist regime, however, has not commented on its military actions in northern Gaza. In the meantime, a larger ceasefire that would end the war and see the release of Israeli and foreign hostages held captive in Gaza, as well as Palestinians jailed by the Zionist regime, remains remote due to disagreements between Hamas and Israel. Over in Lebanon, the Zionist military called for the evacuation of Baalbek area in the eastern region, warning that it was ready to strike Hezbollah targets there and in nearby Durais. The latest evacuation call came as the military's home front command activated sirens at regular intervals along the border, as dozens of projectiles were identified crossing from Lebanon into Israeli territory since Sunday morning. Taiwan's defense ministry on Sunday spotted 35 Chinese military aircraft, including fighters and bombers, flying to the island's south on the way to exercises in the Pacific. A second day in a row it has reported such activities. It stated that from 9 a.m. local time on Sunday, it had detected 37 Chinese military aircraft, including J-16 fighters, nuclear-capable H-6 bombers and drones. Of those, 35 aircraft flew to Taiwan's southwest, south and southeast into the western Pacific to carry out long-range training, adding it had sent its own forces to keep watch. China's defense ministry did not respond to a request for comment on the missions. As Nightline draws to a close this time around, let's take a look as enthusiasts of the vintage penny farthing bicycle model gather in a park in Prague, showcasing their skills to an audience of intrigued onlookers. With that, I'm Hassanel. Thank you for tuning in, and be well, Malaysia.